Alright, next project here on the channel is going to be this rubber molding around this quarter window here, the vent window in the door. So you can see how mine, well, if I don't get too close, is brittle and worn pretty heavily. In the corners here, it's definitely brittle and cracked. So I'm gonna take this quarter window out and replace all of the rubber that goes around here, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. To remove this quarter panel vent window, you have to take off, obviously, well, not obviously, but you have to take off a lot more of the door than you might think. You can't just pull out this piece. You have to remove the main window, and you have to, obviously, for that, you have to remove all the interior trim. So there's a screw here on the window reel, 2 screws, actually 4 total on this top trim piece, and then this pries apart here for the interior door handle, the door latch, and then there's 2 screws here on the pull, and then there's a bunch of snap rivets all throughout the actual door panel. So we'll go ahead and start removing those now. And these pieces just pry apart right here. You gotta be careful not to damage the top part. It's going to be tight against the actual trim here of the door. Alright, what we just did is 15B11 in the service manual. So if you're following along, we've removed all the interior trim pieces. So we're done with 15B11. We'll move over to 15B8, which is 15B8, removing the door glass. The next steps are to remove the screw securing the top rear of the door. So there's a screw that goes right in here up top. So I've removed that screw, and then down the bottom it says to remove the stop bracket for the door glass. Now in the picture, I mean, it's not the clearest picture. Let me see if I can have it focus here. In the picture it references the stop bracket for the door glass, which is supposed to be down below the door glass as part of the regulator unit, or underneath the regulator unit. But I don't have, I'm going to show you what I'm looking at here on the actual car, and I don't have anything down below. It shows it being right here, and I don't have anything there, no stop bracket. So I'll go on to the next step. So next it says to, after we remove the screw up here, roll the window all the way up, remove the vertical channel. So you have to take out this nut down here, which is a 7/16, which I've already loosened up. And then it might be a little fiddly to try to get it out of here, but you have to remove it through the bottom, I believe. So I'll go and take this right out of the hole here. Okay, next on the list is to remove this stop. It's what's referred to as remove the stop for the window regulator. So it's this bolt right here, and basically what it does is it goes through, and if you feel it on the other side, as you roll the window up, you can feel that it will prevent the window from going up too far. So That's right here. It's in this little channel here, so it can probably be adjusted up and down. It's a 1/2. So just remove that. It's basically just a bolt that goes through and stops. I don't know if this is aftermarket or if this is original. It's just a bolt on mine that prevents the window from going up too far. The next step is to remove this corner block, and so it's just press fit. It's a piece of rubber that's press fit in, and it stops obviously the window from going up too high. This is going to be a brittle part if it's been in there a while, so I'm expecting it to crack. So make sure you order a new one of these if you're going to be doing this job. So basically what you have to do is push out from the top and try to get this top bit to come out. There we go. Once you get that top out, it'll slide up and out. So that's what it looks like. Okay, this next bit is a bit messy. Basically, what you're going to be doing is this channel here that the window regulator moves the window up and down on. If you reach back here and you feel, good idea to wear gloves on this part because there's a lot of grease in here and also sharp edges. This back channel here, you'll be able to feel on this metal. If you slide your finger along it, you can feel there's a hole or there's a cutout in the back of it. So what they tell you to do is you want to remove from the regulator this channel. So you have to move it all the way up and guide it along, make sure it goes into its groove. Move it all the way up, and then once you get it all the way up, now with that quarter piece or the corner piece removed up here, it allows the window to go up higher than it normally would, right here. And so you move the window all the way up until it won't go anymore, which will be about 1 inch to 1.5 inches above this vent window. And now what you do is you move it backward, and you'll be able to lift it out of the regulator. Alright, now finally we're on to the next step, ventilator disassembly. So we're removing this quarter glass here, which might not be in the frame, but steps here are to remove the door glass, and so we've already done that. And now we'll go on to the actual steps to remove this vent glass. Next it says to remove these rivets here, to remove this top seal. And I'm going to try to do this job without removing those because I don't have to rivet them back in. So we'll continue on with the next steps. If we have to come back and it prevents it from actually removing this vent window, then I'll go back and do it. There's a nut here, which I think is a 7/16, which holds on the bottom of the channel. Okay, after you remove that nut, there's a small plate here that attaches to the bottom of the channel that you have to remove as well, so you can slide the whole thing out the top. So you'll have to get your, let's see what size it is. It's probably a 7/16 as well. And remove that. Okay, the next step is to remove the 2 plastic plugs here. One of them's already removed. Once you get those 2 blanking plates off, the 2 rubber grommets, you can see there's one here, and underneath in there there's another nut or screw that takes a 7/16, and so you have to fit it around there. This one's pretty tight, so you have to use a thin wall 7/16, maybe a quarter drive 7/16 to get that one out. But then you just remove those 2 screws. Next, to remove these 2 nuts here from the bottom. Those are 3/8. Okay, the next step is to withdraw the ventilator assembly, so it should just pull out as long as pieces falling apart there. I have to figure out what those are. As long as I don't have to remove this trim here. Oh, let's see, maybe not if I roll the window down. You twist it 90 degrees. And you pull it out. There we go. Nope, you don't have to remove that. Good. You don't have to remove this trim piece here. I mean, it would help, but if you roll the window down, you can get the problem is this bottom bracket here, but you can get that out past the regulator assembly if you roll the window down a little bit. I'm also going to replace this top piece of rubber. Again, I'm trying not to remove this strip here that is pop riveted into the door. So you can get to these clips right here. There's several clips that hold this piece of rubber in, and you just kind of slowly work your way down the line, prying a little bit and then pulling up on this piece of rubber, and it'll come out eventually. So you can get new clips for this, which is advisable, but if you're careful enough, you probably can reuse these. Mine are in pretty good shape, they're not rusted out or anything. Okay, in order to get the vent glass out of this assembly, there's a Phillips screw in here, and mine are pretty rusted, so I'm hoping I don't have to drill them out, but there's a flathead on the side here, and you can take off this little corner piece. Alright, next we'll take off this bottom nut on the spring right here. And then the window just kind of unseats from its little clip right here, and you can pull it out. Set that aside, and now we can remove the gasket from inside here. And you can see how brittle and nasty this old gasket is. In order to get the glass out of this vent panel, just stick a piece of plastic up into the top corner here and gently pry it out. You don't want to bend the chrome here, and you don't want to break the glass, obviously, but if you do it slowly and gently, the glass will eventually work its way out. One tip is, if you're trying to, or you plan on redoing the rubber inside of this seal here while you have the whole thing apart, is mark where the channel goes on your glass so that you can install this channel in the same spot, so that the glass will be able to go up and down easier without you having to mess with it. So I know the back of the metal here is right there, and I'll mark that line, and I'll try not to rub off this Sharpie as I uninstall and reinstall the new one. This is probably going to be pretty difficult to get apart, but if you take a tool such as this and pry the two bits apart, it'll eventually come apart. Alright, we're going to go ahead and call this video a wrap, and in the next video we'll cover all the installation, both of the glazing that goes inside the channel here, as well as the glazing on the bottom of the door window, and the reinstallation of this vent window inside of its frame, and then the reinstallation of everything back inside the door. So stay tuned for that, and hope this helps, and see you in the next one.